All right, get a bit of pressure to find the intro. There it is. Welcome to the B2T show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. All right, get a bit of pressure to find the intro. There it is. All right, here we are on Friday, August 7th, having a little bit of technical difficulties getting back to the new channel. It's exciting, though, that we're on our major channel that has nearly 100,000 viewers. Appreciate you guys smashing the like button, sharing this so that we can get past that 100,000 mark before they start censoring me again. I'm sure it'll happen sooner than later. But we are going to be talking about Trump and what did he mean when it may be the last time you see me in a while. So is he saying see ya for a little bit? Wow, we won't see Trump for a while. What does that really mean? We'll dig into that in this episode. Also, tons of news. Get into a Mark Taylor prophecy about not being afraid and getting in the fight and how important you are as a digital soldier. And we'll be digging into a lot of that as well. Let me see who's on live here on the YouTube channel. It's fun to see everybody. I see the first person that came on was Grammy777. Says, keep you and your family safe, POTUS. I hear you there. Let me know where you guys are all from, and we'll quickly look to see if I can find it. We got Jan from, I see, Fairmont, North Carolina. I love just the diversity we get and how many people we get from all over the place. I really appreciate you all. And tell you what, it is awesome to see people coming all the way from Australia and New Zealand and obviously Canada, and praying for this nation as we go through this critical last 90 days to assure that the deep state does not take out Trump. And I know that is not going to happen if we as a remnant are praying. That's really the most important. Andrea from Ohio, I see. We got England in the house. Got North Carolina in the house. We got Atlanta in the house. Nevada. Cindy from Nevada. We got, what is that? Greenwich, Connecticut from Enzo. Lisa from North Carolina. G from Phoenix. England, somebody says. And his and the actual... handle is England. So Phoenix, G from Phoenix. Lisa's in the house. Finland's in the house. Wow. Norway's in the house as well as Canada. London, Mange from London. Thank you guys for being all on. Let's get into exactly what Trump is saying here when he says you may not see me for a while. So let me show that we don't have any new Q drop since this long drop on 4620, which was a classic. Lou did a great decode on that, so go find Lou's actual Twitter handle and you'll see a great decode on that. But what we saw here is this right here. Let's listen to Trump here in this little 13-second clip.
Enemies out there, this may be the last time you'll see me. So I have a lot of enemies out there, this may be the last time you'll see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing. But I figure we have one chance to do it, and no other president's going to do what I do.
No other president's going to drain the swamp. That's what we're going to be talking about, and I think that is exactly what's going on. He hit them hard over the last few business days, and they are realizing they are not only in trouble, but he's going to go all the way. They've been warning him all this time, but it's just not going to happen where he is going to back off. They thought they might get him to back off all kinds of different ways if they couldn't get rid of him, but Trump is not doing that. He is for we the people. And another company that's for we the people is Noble Gold. In fact, if you haven't looked at what's been going on with gold and silver lately, everything I've been predicting for the last couple of years is starting to happen, right? And you can protect your retirement with a gold or silver IRA. And if you've just gold just made history, right? It just passed 2,000, and I tell you, Bloomberg said they expected that a couple of weeks ago. You see, Bank of America said it'll get to 3,000 in 18 months. Billionaire Kaplan predicted the new decade-long bull market that will push past 5,000 an ounce. If you're sick of low returns, hassles, and volatility, it's time to look at a gold and silver IRA. Choose precious metals with Noble Gold and move to an IRA or 401k this month, and you may even get a free 5-ounce silver American the Beautiful coin. This coin has gone up 17% since this offer started in July. Again, you go to the link down below or just dial this 877-646-5347. I'm moving a bunch of mine over to a silver IRA here. I think it might be official tomorrow. It was a pretty quick process, real easy to do. Josh is the one helping me. You can call 877-646-5347. Again, protect your retirement with a gold or silver IRA. Let me get into this POTUS fiasco or intrigue or whatever, however you want to look at this. It says, I have a lot of enemies, POTUS says. This may be the last time you see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, not very happy with what I'm doing. We have one chance to do it, no other president's going to. And that's just really interesting. And just the other day, POTUS said, the storm is right behind me. So here we go. Those are some pretty interesting comments. And the question is that he just, is that message for us? Is it for some other people? Is he really going to leave for a while? Well, there's some new information that's come out here since he said that. Here's probably the biggest one that says, why were staffers watching POTUS leave on his trip today? This is unusual. This may mean more than a blackout. So look at this. Look at all these staff people out as Trump left. So indeed, he might be leaving at least the White House for quite some time. What's up for? Why would he be doing it this time? And so that is going to be interesting. It says, this is a picture taken today when President Trump was boarding Marine One to travel to Ohio. I thought it was unusual. It appears that staff members were out watching him leave. I've never witnessed that before. And that is pegged gentle there. And so those of you who on the podcast, there's just like a whole ream of staffers outside as he's leaving. So that is really interesting to see what he actually meant. Now, some of the hints you can get, like for instance, here's in the Matrix talking about, what if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS to eliminate the New World Order? That's a that's a Q quote. Z versus Lee, China's power grab begins. And so this is a really interesting video. It's a little long, so I'm not going to play it, but it basically talks about, remember, if you have the 13 family lines, one of the most powerful now is Lee because of the Rothschild money that was going to that and creating that false economy, and they started buying up everything. They started taking the debt of the U.S. on. So they pretty much were starting to own the U.S. They started buying all the Hollywood studios. China became a huge threat as their trading deficit went through the roof. Then they manipulated, stole our technology. And so the Lee family became the most powerful cabal family as well. And that's why the infighting, I believe, started in there, and part of the whole China virus. There's theories that they were trying to punish them as well as cause this pandemic to the planned riots, with the release of the prisoners right in between, with the mask mandate to hide Antifa. Pretty obvious they're trying to get to vote by mail, get rid of Trump, but they also are trying to make sure that the Lee family doesn't take over the whole cabal. So the infighting is there. Now, Z, I think, is working with China and Russia, working with POTUS to eliminate the New World Order. That's part of what became extremely clear. Trump's not backing off with these new executive orders we saw at the Whirlpool discussion that he did yesterday. Whirlpool, 109 years, 99-year lease to Treasury. POTUS committed to impose tariffs on goods to protect American jobs and stop China and many other countries' abuses under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 and Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. And what's the significance of Whirlpool? Well, to drain. What is he doing? He's draining the swamp. And this remarks at the Trump Whirlpool Corporation manufacturing plant. This was posted yesterday, so you can go actually see the full just by going to the government website. I'll give you that. You'll have those links in the show notes if you want to go see this full deal. But one part says, as we celebrate Whirlpool's 109-year legacy of American manufacturing excellence. And so he's taking manufacturing back. You probably saw just yesterday the executive order talked about how medical and critical medical pharmaceuticals, etc., have to be made in the United States now. That is a huge blow to the big pharma, as well as taking out the middleman. And he talked about that quite a bit. And this is drain the swamp has real meaning, says in the Matrix here. This is not another 4-year election. Drain the swamp does not simply refer to removal of those corrupt in D.C. Biden's son, $1.5 million deal with China. Coincidence? Drain the swamp. Small whirlpool form. So remember, small whirlpools form when the bath or sink is draining. And there's a bunch of Q posts he points back to. Like here's one that says, this is not another 4-year election. Drain the swamp. We just read that one, right? Here's another one that goes back to 12/29/2019. It talked about if Russia didn't hack the DNC insider breach and Intel support Russia breach claim, what does that tell you? The U.S. government under POTUS went through, still ongoing, a major remove replace operation. Traitors everywhere. Drain the swamp has real meaning. And so this does have real meaning. Drain the swamp. And that's what that Whirlpool thing really pointed to, right? Back on 7/8 of 2019, we saw coincidence? Drain the swamp. And here's just a image from Whirlpool. You see there's the whirling around. Small whirlpools form when a bath or sink is draining. Exactly right. So that is part of what's going on. The deep state knows they are losing everything. And you see here it says, get out. Chinese state media slams madness of U.S. tech purge. So Trump is saying no more of this TikTok stuff. Gave him 90 days notice for that. Started just attacking China in every way so they could not take over this country. Here's this Trump signs executive order to ban U.S. transactions with owners of TikTok and WeChat in 45 days. That is a big, big play. President Donald Trump issued an executive order which will ban any U.S. companies or citizens from making transactions with ByteDance, the parent company of video sharing social media service TikTok, in 45 days. Trump also issued an order taking similar action against Tencent, a Chinese company that owns WeChat. The move comes after the president told reporters on Monday that TikTok would close down unless sold to a U.S. company. Woo! And this is Trump declaring TikTok a national emergency, signs executive order barring transactions with the parent company starting in 45 days. That is a big move and shows that Trump is serious about taking down this swamp. And it's not just this corruption in the D.C., it is the swamp worldwide that is affecting the entire United States and the world in all this. And so you can see that this is punches to the gut of big pharma when you actually say you have to manufacture everything in the United States. And it's a punch in the gut to the entire cabal when you start taking down the Lee family and take their ability to make money in the United States. So now their manufacturing is starting to be brought home, and so all the manufacturing in China is going down fast. Their economy is going to just sink like mad. And the fact that they now, some of these things like TikTok and WeChat are not going to be able to financially survive, this is amazing. And faith, not fear, says Diane. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we need here. Here is Cordcom putting this up. It says, has a picture of Trump and General Flynn. And the meme says, Trump saying, "You ready?" And what does Trump say? "Just set me loose, sir. All you have to do is let us go, sir." That's exactly right. So obviously this is just another major blow to the deep state, where they would hope they could at least control Trump somewhat if they couldn't take him out. And now they realize they can't. So what's that? That just increases the chance of obviously an assassination attempt. And that's exactly what I believe he's going into hiding for a little bit to let that cool down. There's a chatter's probably all over the place. And also potentially going in and getting, hopefully he's going to get closer to the Lord, have a little bit of time off, as well as maybe prepare for the debates. Who knows what he's doing? Those are kind of my guesses on some of the things that I think he's doing. I think it's a protection type item, as well as an item a move to get him prepared. And maybe what Amanda Grace has been talking about is just Trump time to really humble himself and really look for the wisdom from the Lord. I believe that's exactly what's going on here. And look at what happened. This just came out just a few minutes ago. Because President Donald Trump will hold a news conference tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So, boy, I'm going to be watching that here. So that's not too long away. I think it's, what is it? It's almost 6 o'clock. So that might be happening here pretty soon. You might want to watch that too. Maybe we can play a little bit of that live if we can get it live here on the show. Thank you, President Trump. I am on SS and Medicare and use insulin. Cost was over $300. Got it today for $21.50. Same drug, same quantity. Groceries will be better now, especially with their price increases. Trump 2020. This person says just one of many things our president has done, but gets no recognition by the MSM. Is that not true? That's why, guys, let's get on Twitter. Let's get on Facebook. Let's be in this war. This is the time to be a digital soldier and fight. This is the time as a remnant to be praying and fasting for this president, for this country, for this world against the cabal. We the people versus the cabal. We the people versus the human trafficking. We the people versus adrenochrome production, right? This and demand. This is the time for the fight. And I tell you what, it is, the storm seems to be here. Now, this was the big pharma punch. When you take big pharma's revenue down, what's $21 versus $300? Right? You cut out the middlemen, you go directly, you start going to more generic drugs. That's why they hate hydroxychloroquine as well, because that is a very inexpensive generic drug that big pharma can't make money on. So big pharma is taking it in the gut by Trump, and that is, you start taking down China, and you start taking down big pharma when you've already taken down Saudi Arabia, and start taking down all the child trafficking rings. You put up a wall so you can't have the trafficking there. You start eliminating all the Huawei towers. That's gut hit after gut hit after gut hit, and the deep state is pissed, and that's exactly what Trump, I think, was talking about. And meanwhile, Joe Biden is, I think we're watching a movie. Why would you have somebody with dementia that can't talk right, and that's actually pissing off the black vote, right? So here's Crazy Joe actually saying Latinos have diversity of thought, unlike black people who all think alike, says Joe Biden. So listen to what he says here in this clip.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. What you all...
That did not go over well, as you can imagine. If Trump said that, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And so obviously Joe's going to get a pass from the mainstream media, because the mainstream media are the puppets of this satanic cabal. It's really clear. That's why in the course that I'm about ready to release in September, and you'll hear a lot about it here this next 3 or 4 weeks. We're going to have a big launch probably right after Labor Day. And when we'll all start this with a 3-week course, the first part of that is not only bonding and adjusting to the people that may be disrespecting you, or you've lost contact with, you're kind of unequally yoked to them, or children that aren't listening to you. That the first step is going to be bonding and adjusting. But the next step is really taking a shot at how dishonest the media is and how they are literally working for the cabal. If people understand that, no matter what your color or what your political slant is, if you understand that the media is literally protecting pedophiles, that is a real important point to get across, and I'll show you how I do that effectively. Sharing truth with impact will be coming soon. Here's Donald Trump. Joe Biden, unlike the African American community, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. It's like, wow, Joe Biden just lost the entire African American community. What a dumb thing to say. It's like, oh yeah. So in this said, he links to the Breitbart article that says, that basically says, unlike the African American community, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. Now, he did say with notable exception there, but it's like, what? even that is just a very racist thing to say, in my opinion. And so that is really, really hitting him. Biden was addressing the National Association of Black Journalists and the National Association of Hispanic Journalists joint virtual convention. Portions of the interview were aired Wednesday, and the full video was streamed on Thursday. So isn't that interesting? So it seems like they could have stopped that, but I think we're watching part of a movie. Here's Rudy Giuliani's take on it. He said, if Donald Trump said the black community was not diverse, he would be called a racist. If you say no, you're a liar. And it's not an isolated statement or action by Hayden Biden. He has a history of racist statements and actions long before he started to get dementia. And so it's really interesting that he's so blunt there. Dementia is clearly what it seems Joe has. Here's Bill Mitchell saying, if Americans hate Trump enough to elect an crazy old racist with severe dementia to replace him, then why is CNN the lowest rated network? And why is viewership of the NFL, the MLB, and the NBA at record lows? Yep, they're misreading this with fake polls again, right? And again, those polls can be manipulated in many ways. One is adults in America. Well, adults in America can include illegals, right? Sometimes they just do registered voters versus likely voters, which can really skew things. And then they always oversample Democrats and undersample Republicans, and obviously oversample independents that lean Democratic. That is anybody doing a polling operation can manipulate those polls pretty heavily. Here is Vincent Kennedy saying, small accounts are more powerful than you realize. Be vocal. So even if you have to go create a new Twitter account or go create a new Facebook account, so I still have that above my head. Every once in a while you're going to see Impact Culture Now. You can go to Impact Culture Now, download the top 60 patriots that I used. About a lot of them have been purged, probably around 20% of them, but still that 80% still there, right? I'll be updating that here soon. But I tell you what, that is a great way to just be a digital soldier, become part of this battle. So it's not only just prayer and fasting and it's getting in the fight from a digital perspective. I really appreciate you. I know a lot of you, my audience, are older than me and don't have a good grasp of technology. Some of you don't, but hey, it's pretty simple to just put an email in, create an account, go follow everybody at impactculturenow.com, and then just start retweeting. It's really easy. Like, retweet, right? So I'm encouraging you to get in the fight. This is an important time. We need all guns ablazing. Defeat COVID-19 by requiring vaccination for all. It's not un-American. It's patriotic. This is the fake news USA Today. So if you ever get a paper when you're out traveling, right, or you just have a subscription to USA Today, I would ask you to really be careful who you follow. Right, this is a complete one of the many, just like the New York Times and the Washington Post, just newspapers that put out false articles. You can see what they're pushing. Make vaccines free. Don't allow religious or personal objections. Look at that. Who cares what your religious views are? And punish those who won't be vaccinated. They are threatening the lives of others. So here is a COVID virus that is no more deadly than the flu, is what we're finding out. And they are overcounting the deaths, overcounting the cases, many false positives, and then they want to have forced vaccinations. Are you kidding me? So this Dr. Michael Letterman, Maxwell J. Melhan, and Dr. Stuart Younger are going right along. They are either part of the cabal or they are puppets of the cabal. To say that type of thing is just so idiotic, especially when we know some of these vaccines are produced by the evil Bill Gates and company, which is just one and the same as the cabal that's been poisonous with chemtrails, poisonous with the poison in all their products, poisonous with big pharma, things that only help our symptoms and don't help cure things. This is the whole game they have to try to control us, trying to basically make us robotic operators, eventually getting a bunch of metals in us with Magellans and to be able to control us with 5G towers. That was their plan. It's backfired completely. Trump's cleaned up the chemtrails. Almost any chemtrails you see are actually neutralizing chemtrails. My skies, and I've been traveling a little bit here up to Hot Springs, Arkansas, over to Denver, Colorado, all the way in between to the Dallas area. The skies are beautiful everywhere in the middle of the United States here. You guys tell me what you think about that, but I tell you what, it's pretty. Just look up at how clean our skies are compared to they were 2 or 3 years ago, and that is just proof beyond doubt. And then go look what's happening in the deep underground military bases that we've been reporting on. There's no way that if Trump was part of this scheme to fool us, would he be taking out the dumbs and taking out the chemtrails that these demon-type creatures need to survive. Here is somebody speaking truth. This is Dr. Simone Gold. Basically talked about the study conducted on chloroquine in Brazil is now under federal investigation. Not only did they give their patients toxic doses, which resulted in deaths, the researchers used the results to claim that chloroquine is ineffective and dangerous. This is what the cabal does. False flags on all kinds of things, and here they are giving false information on a very safe and effective drug. That I've shown many articles showing clinical studies and many doctors talking about hundreds and hundreds of patients being used at 100% effectiveness rate. So this reminds me of the false study they did with the VA, where they gave the drug way too late, and obviously with patients that were about ready to expire, and they needed something completely different than that. So that, yeah, no Vaxxus, says Carol. I hear you there. Here's a small chlorine study halted over risk of fatal heart complications. Complete lies. Studies are showing now, you'll see some more studies I'm going to show you, where you have less than with Tylenol. The complications with, they give it to pregnant women and children. That's how safe this is. It should be, in my opinion, an over-the-counter drug. And so here's roughly half the study participants were given a dose of 450 milligrams of chloroquine twice daily for 5 days, when you're only supposed to get 20, while the rest were prescribed a higher dose of 600 milligrams for 10 days. Basically giving not anywhere near what the protocol is, the safe protocol is. That is exactly why you have to watch out when you have a cabal-controlled media and a cabal-controlled studies. That's why that's why they went and corrupted the CDC and corrupted the World Health Organization and the FTC. They get their cabal members in there so that they can all get rich. It's a big scheme for the 1%. The 1% is not just a bunch of rich people. The 1% is a bunch of criminals. That is the problem. And dangers of Tylenol versus hydroxychloroquine. This is, again, an MD. So I'm talking from an MD's perspective. James Tordardo. You can see him on @JamesTordardoMD on Twitter. And he talks about the dangers of Tylenol versus hydroxychloroquine prior to COVID-19. This is an actual study. Outcomes of a PubMed reported hydroxychloroquine overdoses and versus Tylenol. Deaths attributed to HCQ since 1963. 20 deaths worldwide. Deaths attributed to Tylenol every year. Around 500 deaths in the USA alone. Even in massive HCQ overdoses, example up to 40 grams, most patients survive with medical attention. So if you're going to try to wipe yourself out, HCQ is probably not the drug to take. Tylenol is much more effective. Right? Point being here is that obviously be careful, use your doctor's advice, but the doctors that actually have frontline actual experience with this are telling you truth right here. All right, all backed up by studies. This is just truth of studies. So go study this for yourself. Here's a Gateway Pundit talking about in a rare rebuke, top GOP senators accuse Schiff, Pelosi, Warner, and Schumer of knowingly spreading disinformation on foreign intel. And this just goes to the Russia thing. It is so obvious. In a rare rebuke, Senators Ron Johnson and Chuck Grassley this week sent a letter to top Democrats accusing them of spreading disinformation and foreign intel. The letter was sent to the House Intel Chairman Adam Schiff, Speaker Pelosi, Vice Chair of Senate Intel Panel Mark Warner, and Senate Minority Chuck Schumer, claiming for the past 4 years they have promoted and amplified the false narrative that the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. This is Johnson and Grassley wrote, claiming that the Democrats have pushed this false narrative, even though behind closed doors they repeatedly saw and heard evidence to the contrary. Grassley and Johnson accused the Democrat lawmakers of recklessly promoting false narratives for political gain. It's certainly our goal to eradicate foreign influence from our elections, the senators wrote, but your use of this issue to knowingly and recklessly promote false narratives for political purposes is completely contrary to that goal. And here we have last month, top Democrats in both the House and Senate wrote a letter to the FBI asking the Bureau to provide Congress with a counterintelligence briefing on the so-called concrete foreign interference campaign targeting Congress and the 2020 election. John and Grassley pushed back and said the Democrats are purposely leaking information and spreading disinformation to muddy the election. Schiff has repeatedly claimed he has concrete evidence Trump colluded with the Russians. However, he has never produced any evidence to back up his outrageous claims. Good article there. Here's Trump saying this is the biggest political crime and scandal in American history. Hopefully for good of our country, it's coming soon. He's talking about after 16 months of investigating, special Spygate investigator John Durham still has not interviewed James Comey, Andrew McCabe, John Brennan, or James Clapper, and Clapper's attorneys reportedly said Durham's office has assured him that we will not be interviewed at all. So that's Paul Sperry talking about that. But the point is that they have multiple prosecutors on different things, as we learned about the whole unmasking had a whole separate prosecutor on. And so Durham, this is going to be a long rollout of damaging information coming soon. This is Gateway Pundit article. Chuck Schumer changes his mind, now says schools must be open. It must be that poll that shows 80% of voters want schools open. So finally, the Democrats tried to play that card, and that one backfired on them pretty bad. And here's a sampling of voter fraud across the U.S. by state. Use it when you debate your liberal friends who claim it never happens. So here's a whole article, all these 3 different articles on voter fraud. So that link will be available to you. There's the Heritage here. As an example, a sampling of recent election fraud cases from across the United States. 1,290 proven instances of voter fraud, 1,113 criminal convictions, 48 civil penalties, 95 diversion program, 16 judicial findings, 17 official findings. And so good article there that you can dig into to see that this is voter fraud is real. And obviously the cabal will do anything to control the election. And I think we've cleaned up the voter machine fraud that was happening with the George Soros machines. Also, the where we go one, we go all movement is growing. Here's an example of a billboard up, and this person talks about it here in a second.
Look at that, the biggest disinfo campaign in the...
Okay, this is a billboard that says COVID911.tlc that you can go look. It looks .tk, I'm sorry. And it has the Punisher symbol in the O. It says biggest disinfo campaign in history. Huge billboard, and this person's pointing to it.
Street, on a main street, where we go one, we go all.
On a main street, there you go. So people are spending. I think there was in some busy cities that can be $8,000-$10,000 for a month for having a big huge billboard like that. So depending on what city it's in, obviously is not quite so expensive. But wow, billboards are not cheap. That is pretty cool. So here's Trump says, I called the politicization of China virus by the radical left Democrats a hoax, not the China virus itself. Everybody knows this except for the fake and corrupt media. That's exactly right. It's not just the fake media. It is the fake and corrupt media. What I call the pedophile protectors, right? With 2 deaths claiming to be related to COVID-1984 at Governor Whitmore has now ordered children as young as 2 to be masked and while at daycare. Can you believe that? This is the crazy take your rights away governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer. no matter which side of the aisle you're on, you have to agree that what she is doing in Michigan is complete tyranny. And so based upon 2 deaths, and they count anything as a death, it seems like, having masks on a 2-year-old, even when we know the statistics on masks, especially cloth masks that get bacteria on it, and they really don't, as you know, the virus is way smaller than bacteria. So you have to really, to have the true protection from a virus, you have to have an N95 mask. And almost everybody that's wearing a mask now does not have an N95 mask. And even Fauci himself was talking about if you touch the mask and move it around, you're bringing bacteria on your face. You can actually, and then you're getting less CO2. I mean, less oxygen, and you're inhaling your own CO2. All that can cause big problems. Like 2, I think Chinese kids may have died because they were forced to wear masks in gym class because they did not get enough oxygen. This is really a eye-opening awakening happening right before our eyes, I believe. Here you have Twitter tip. Jack removed most Q accounts from Twitter's search algorithm, so these accounts cannot be found by searching for them. So if you're following those people above me that I talked about with my 60 red pill patriots that I follow, make sure you might want to bookmark them, right, so that you don't lose the ability to search for them. So this is another one of the illegal tactics that Twitter is taking to keep you from finding the truth. Here is Stephanie Smith basically saying this church decided to worship at the local Walmart since they weren't allowed to gather anywhere else. So here they are singing worship songs in Walmart. Just kind of pretty cool. Yeah, so they're singing back there, dancing back there. I saw another one where they were doing that in a casino. So churches are getting creative. They're keeping you from worshiping in a church, but the casinos are open. So they go bring all the congregation to the casino, and here you have, hey, Walmart's are open. Let's do it at Walmart. So churches are getting creative. I have not begun to pronounce Brian Cates. This is an account that's got this long name, but it says here, corrupt Ukrainian presidents, Ukrainian oligarchs, missing billions in U.S. taxpayer dollars. State Department bureaucrats covering it all up. The Biden family, the Kerry family, the Romney family. The scandal has all this and so much more. This is part of what they're covering up, was trying to keep Joe out of debates, trying to get the vote by mail, and also trying to cover up all the corruption of the Romney, Kerry, and Biden family, all in Ukraine. Here is, guys, it's still dangerous out there, so being prepared is still important. Like here is a poor older woman tried to stop Antifa rioters from continuing their attack on the Portland Police East Precinct tonight. She stood in front of them as they dumped some white liquid all over her and cursed her out. So that's what these crazy Portland people are doing. It's very dangerous. And we saw how Andy No, who's been reporting on this right here, he has been abused many times and assaulted by these guys as he tries to cover them. But tell you what, letting criminals out of jail to actually have more MK Ultra people, have more violent people on the streets on purpose, getting a mass mandate to hide them, this is what happens. Here's a left lawless policies have cost. Here's an article that talks about a rape suspect was freed due to the virus. He killed his accuser in Alexandria. And so this is police in Virginia say that the rape suspect who was released from jail in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, this Ibrahim, Boshiaji, went to kill the woman who had accused him. That is what happens when you have pure evil doing stupid things politically. Why? To protect the satanic cabal. That's what they're doing here. Amazing things going on. So again, there's going to be this third horn that Amanda talks about. There's going to be disruptions in your city, most likely. There may be power outages potentially. That's why I'm just talking about preparing and flashlights, ammunition for your guns, making sure you do have a way to protect your food and water. And obviously, food and water is absolutely vital. That's why I partnered with My Patriot Supply. They have this 4-week supply, and this takes a while to get there. So please get this, because they're threatening a lot of violence. That's going to be violence, not just the pussy hat rebellion after the 2016 election. That they're threatening even massive more violence after the election. So make sure you get this in the order so you get that before the election. This is the best price I've seen for a 4-week emergency food supply. We went and searched when they got back 8 and 10 weeks. We actually went to try to get some more, and I couldn't find anything for less than $300, let alone $197 for 2,000 calories a day with 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They're in the resealable Mylar pouches that can have up to 25-year shelf life. So this is great food. Please make sure you have at least 6 weeks per person in your family of emergency supply food. And obviously you need good water to actually cook this stuff. And I suggest this Alexa Pure Pro because it doesn't take electricity. I use a lot of distilled water, but I have an Alexa Pro as well with a couple filters. You can buy more than one filter if you'd like. This one for $199 is one filter, but it'll in about 2 hours will take a couple gallons of water and filter it down here with no electricity. So that's a perfect way of doing this. And again, that is it can do 5,000 gallons of water per filter. It removes heavy metals, fluoride, chlorine, bacteria, viruses, pesticides, and pharmaceuticals that are all in our water. Right, so again, that's what you're gonna go if you want to get this. This would be waterwithrick.com. So pretty easy ones, and then preparewithrick.com. So preparewithrick.com or waterwithrick.com. Just make sure you don't. And this will help you have more faith. That when I talk about this, some people say, "Well, God's in control. Don't have to do this." I'm 100% disagree with that. If you prepare, you're not gonna have to worry. And then it's a lot easier to continue that faith and not fall into fear. Remember, fear is the way Satan feeds off that. Satan feeds off your fear, and he wants to create fear in the world. That's why he uses all this media and the Hollywood and everything to create the fear that they're trying to do right now, and they feed off that. But if you have faith, that's the opposite of fear, and part of that is being prepared will help you maintain that peace that transcends all understanding, right? But you take some action to be able to keep that peace, right? So here's somebody, Martin Geddes, says they want to divide us. Muzzles are just the latest ruse. What unites everybody is love for innocent children. And so at the right time, after they realize the media is lying to them, that's why we have to get them off the media. So if there's anything that I suggest, and I'll teach you that in the new course coming up, is getting them understanding. Because if they trust the media, you could talk till you're blue in the face, and you'll never make any progress, right? So that's an important part of getting them off of this. Minnesota's largest newspaper has come out against my opponent, Ilhan Omar. Can you believe that? A liberal newspaper stops supporting Ilhan Omar. That's kind of a first. It's like, wow. Eyes are finally being opened to Ilhan's true intentions. Her campaign is about securing her national profile. And my campaign, this is Lacey Johnson, is about representing the people of Minnesota's 5th District. So tell you what, that is going to be nice to get rid of her. So hopefully we have the landslide not just on the presidential election, but in all the local elections as well as the elections at the state level. We need to get rid of some of these governors and mayors and attorney generals that are corrupt and funded by Soros. Wow, I just lost 600 followers at the drop of a hat. So you'll see a lot of people are losing followers. I got in the shower with 803 followers, gained 9 while showering, followed back and checked in the status and only had 802 after that. So they're taking followers away, especially for the bigger accounts right now. So that is just happening now, and they're making it to where you can't find the followers. So the Twitter purge is happening. Also, we see here Facebook deletes QAnon group with over 2,000 followers. So, woo, it's happening, guys. That's why all your smaller accounts are going to become more and more important as the larger accounts get taken off. In fact, I didn't even check my followers lately. It's at 27,000. Yeah, so see, I've lost some as well because it was like 27.7, I think, yesterday. So they're cleaning house on our followers, and larger accounts like mine are not likely to survive this. That's why I've moved to Parler at blessed2teach.com, but I also have a backup channel too, and that's B2T Show. So I have another Twitter called B2T Show. So it's important for us to keep your smaller accounts active, right, in this digital war. Hey, if you want to see everything I just showed you, the source information for this show, make sure you sign up for the show notes. And then each morning U.S. time, you're going to get a copy of the video that you can just play from right there, no matter which of the where I'm serving that up to you. So as YouTube continues to pound me, I have to flip to the other YouTube accounts. I may have to serve it up from BitChute or from my Searchy platform or from my Kajabi or Zoom platform. So I have a lot of other platforms where I have all this for safety. So you'll always be able to get the Blessed Teach Show from the show notes, right? That will be sent to you every morning, as well as you have all the show notes right there with the show. So you have access to every link I show you as you're watching it. So I think that's a good experience. I have a brand new website we rolled out. Go to blessed2teach.com. Blessed with a number 2, teach.com. This is where we have some backstage videos. Don't miss Gene's revealing stuff that he did on Pedogate just on Friday night. I can't remember what night that was. I think that was a couple nights ago. But all of those, everything, all our backstage content that we talk about, like we're going to be having a discussion after this show, and it's all recorded. So even if you can't make the live show, it's cool. You can be 5 minutes before, and I was going to say 5 minutes after, and now it's become hours afterwards. But there's a lot of content backstage for you to join us. And there's also ability to upgrade to Gene Unleashed, where he goes over massively deep topics. But all you do is go to this tab, hit Join Backstage. For $14.77 a month, you can get all that content. And it's got a community back there. It's got a searchy platform with a high-speed platform with a much better search engine than YouTube gives you by far. You can find an exact minute and second of what Mark Taylor says, and Amanda says, Gene says, I say. And that can go all the way down to like $8 a month if you pay for a year in advance. So another 45% off the 25%. So very minimal cost. It's obviously supportive of this platform. We really appreciate you guys. Supports Gene doing his massive research. It supports us growing and building a small team to serve you guys. So join us on Backstage. That is a win-win for everybody. And I'll tell you what, let's get into, this is where you can also send me an email, by the way. You go to Contact Us. If you go to About, it shows when I go live, on what days I go live. I take periodic days off. But anyway, on Sundays, obviously, we do a Bible study as well. Let's get into this prophecy by Mark Taylor. This is Don't Be Deceived, Get in the Fight. This is done October 2015. So this was over a year before the 2016 election, right? And this is amazing what he says here, because a lot of these prophecies that Mark gave, you test the spirits, right? And part of that is testing is did they come true or not? Or does it look like they may come true? And everything that I've tested with Mark Taylor has really been on the mark, as well as with Amanda Grace. So I don't follow very many prophets, but these two seem to be right on the mark. Here is what he said. He said that you can find this all on swordrescue.com, by the way, S-O-R-D with no W, S-O-R-D rescue.com. The Spirit of God says, the Clintons, your time has come to an end. For you both are being omitted for the crimes you have committed. Hillary's is no great secret, and they will be her downfall. But Bill's will be exposed one after the other, and it will be a windfall. For this time you will not escape prosecution and restitution for the rape and prostitution. You thought no one saw, but the Lord sees it all. And now this will be your downfall. This is 3 paragraphs. That's the first paragraph. And it's real interesting. When it says Hillary's is no great secret, it's obviously talking about the emails, the Benghazi scandal, all that type of stuff that was swept under the rug. She's going to go down for it, according to this prophecy. And Bill's entire thing will be as well. Hey, let's not be swearing on the I know we don't have a moderator tonight, so please let's mellow out, guys, on the chat. I'm going to go through it later, and I will remove in the appropriate context from the channel completely. So let's quit that. Let's look at this. The second paragraph goes, the Spirit of God says, beware, beware, the enemy roams about seeking whom he can devour. And this sitting president is doing just that in this hour. Obviously talking about Obama. He's full of lies and deceit and is very hateful. He spreads division and corruption with every mouthful. Beware when he says, look over here, what the right hand is doing. To divert your attention from what the left hand is doing is his intention. This is a setup from the president and his minions, from the hate and division and Hillary Clinton. Why can no one see this? For the signs are clear to see that this president and his minions shall try for 3. A sign will be he will try to take the guns so the people can't rise up and stop him when he tries to run. He will not succeed, for this is the people's right. But make no mistake, it'll be a fight. So to me, this is a fulfilled prophecy. We had all kinds of ploys of Obama trying to take the guns the last couple of years of his actual presidency, right? And his corruption is being shown right now with Spygate, unmasking, etc. Right? And the third paragraph goes into, the Spirit of God says, my army, rise up to take the fight, and I will stop this that has already taken flight. For this is a war over America and not to be taken lightly. You will have to fight, but America will shine brightly. Take the fight to the enemy and you will be victorious for all to see. And America will be loved once again, even by some that used to be her enemies. My army, continue to war, pray and fight with a shout, and I will remove this president that has become a louse. Then you will see the man I've chosen, Donald Trump, when he takes back my White House. So that was written obviously a year before the election, and that became a completely true prophecy compared to several others he had written about Trump coming into the White House. Now, just amazing. But this is the whole point: is don't be deceived, get in the fight. When he talks about the army of God, he's talking about you. If you're a red-pilled Christian patriot, which most of my audience are, red-pilled, you understand the cabal, you're a patriot, you love this country, and you're a Christian, right, that loves the Lord. Tell you what, you're important. And we fought and prayed and blew our shofars. A lot of people did the 2016 election, November 6th, and amazing things happened. You saw it, right? And so we need to be doing the same thing. We need to be in the fight as digital soldiers, in the fight as prayer warriors, in the fight as those who fast, those who are called to actually pray for this president, pray for this first lady, pray for the white hats, pray against the schemes of the cabal. This is so important. Don't be deceived. Get in the fight. Again, don't cower to fear. There's going to be all kinds of people flipping right now, like Kevin Shipp did. He's on my list, right? But he flipped and did exactly what Alex Jones did. He actually did what Jerome Corsi did, and many others. And Coulter does. All these people, Jack Posobiec, all these people flip and lie to us constantly. So we're going to see more of that. We're going to see people flip. Obviously, you've seen just the books have been written about Trump. The cabal is going to throw everything at us, and it's going to continue. And there's going to be this third horn of something as big as the virus, something as big as the riots is coming next. And we can't cower down to fear. It's our job to stay faithful and confident. And the Bible memory verse kind of echoes that, right? It's Isaiah 41:10, one of the many Bible memory verses I have. And you can find them all on BibleMemory.com. You can go to your PC, or you can just the Bible Memory app. And if you go to groups and search Blessed to Teach with the TO this time, you will find my group there. And I have 68 verses I memorize and keep refreshed on, right? And you can delete ones you don't like, take the ones you like, add ones of your own. great program to really help you memorize and put God's word in your heart. And Isaiah 1:10 is one of those. It says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Woo! That is pretty cool. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I tell you what, I want the righteous right hand of the Lord to be upholding me. What do we have to do to make that happen? Well, we don't fear. We don't be dismayed. We just serve him. And I believe the way we serve him now is being in the Word of God, because it's the living Word of God that will speak to us. Praying, fasting, as well as being a digital soldier. You do those things in faith, seeing Trump, visioning Trump winning, seeing the cabal going down, seeing the children being rescued. In faith, that's how we need to be praying. All these fake videos saying that Trump has flipped are lies. Saying that Q has flipped. Saying that 5G is going to take us over. FEMA is going to take us over. No. That is Satan's plan to try to get you in fear. Instead, we're going to say, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for your biblical word. It talks about you being our refuge, you being the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings. Wow, the great creator, the God of compassion, love, light, and creation. Wow, we love you, Lord. And thank you for verses like Isaiah 41:10, when it says we don't have to fear, we do not have to be dismayed, and that you are our God, and you are with us, and you will uphold us with your righteous right hand. Thank you, Lord. Allow us to understand how we can best join you in these critical months right now, as well as going forward, as you rip out unrighteousness from this country, rip out unrighteousness from all over the world, and restore many millions of children, restore many people who have not heard the gospel. Let us be a part of that, Lord. And thank you. And we say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. That is the show for today, and really appreciate you guys taking the time. Join me backstage if you have a backstage pass. We'll dig into some more material, and obviously we do that almost after every show, and then we also have at least once a month a Gene Unleashed and another couple hours on a deep topic. Tell you what, that is worth just looking at the history of the world and the Atlantis video that he did that he did on Gene Unleashed this last month in July. And he has another one coming up that is going to be even more detailed. That is going to be well worth a Gene Unleashed pass as well. But tell you what, this was Trump saying see ya for a while. We're not going to show exactly what that is. Hopefully we'll see, based upon his press conference here, what he said. It was supposed to be about 30 minutes ago, so I'm going to go find that. But we won't see Trump for a while, potentially. But God bless you guys. Keep the faith, and we'd love you to talk to you next time. You've just listened to the Blessed Teach Show. You're now empowered with the truth. Don't miss the edited short B2T clips on a new channel called B2T Clips. A big thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and PayPal. You are truly appreciated. For the links to these sites, as well as links for show notes, Backstage with Blessed Teach, training courses, and more, visit blessedtoteach.com. That's blessed with the number 2, teach.com. God bless, and be sure to go empower others with the truth.